Hi guys! I know it's almost Christmas time. This may not get put up till after Christmas, but I have been having a very hard time finding a tree skirt for our Christmas tree. All of the tree skirts nowadays seem to have like the tiny hole in the middle for fake trees, and we still get a real tree and the base is very large because it needs water. So I've decided, me and my husband, to make one, and I thought if it turns out, I might as well record it so maybe we can help someone else. So we bought these 2 blankets from Walmart. They're $5 a piece, I think. Duke just likes to be in the way. Yeah. So I went through, I can show you on this side. It had a straight edge right along here, and I cut right through there. And then on this side, it doesn't have as straight of an edge. It's this square right here. It doesn't have as straight of an edge. So I just cut into the snowman, cut off his arm and the bird, and made sure I got the edge of the penguin's hat all the way up. Using my foot as a hand, I guess. So I've already cut those, tried to line it up, and my husband's over here being a nice gentleman trying to figure out my sewing machine that I've never used. So we'll see how this goes. Okay, I finished sewing this. Earl decided to come lay on it, and doesn't line up quite how I wanted. I have a little, like, couple inches extra at the bottom. Still not quite sure what I'm doing, but I moved the blankets onto the carpet because they kept slipping around on the laminate floor. But I just took the tape measure and laid it down. My husband helped me line it up with the seam, and it was about 60.5 inches or so. So I just took a permanent marker and I marked where the center of the seam is. We just got this base from the place that we got our Christmas tree and cut it down. They had them for sale. I took my tape measure and let me sit you guys down. That'll work a little bit better. Don't mind all the Christmas trees crap on the floor. So I took it, it's probably loud, and I wedged it under this little support, and now it doesn't want to go. Either way, so I did that, and then I just kind of used my fingers to line up the edge of the base to the edge of the tape measure, and then this edge down, and it came to about 10 inches. So then I took it over to my blanket, and from there I laid the tape measure down, and this one here was my first dot. So I lined up 5 inches with the seam, which is right here. The dot's over here because the tape measure was laying down. And hey, Mindy. So I marked 5 inches that way, 5 inches this way, and then I marked 5 inches that way and this way. So now I think I'm going to do a couple more 5-inch dots around, and then I'm going to probably cut it a little bit smaller so that I have a seam to attempt to sew a circle. I could barely sew a straight line, so we'll see. So I cut out the circle. As you can see, I still have my permanent marker marks because I'm going to have to fold it over. Actually, what way would it be? This way. And sew it. So I left my marks. If it's a little bit bigger, it's okay. And this fabric is stretchy, so you can see, like, it doesn't lay in there correctly anymore, but that's what I have. Also, if you use these cheap blankets, fuzzies everywhere, just everywhere. So I'm going to try to show this, but it's going to be a little difficult because it's kind of a bundled mess here in my lap. But I put the blankets inside out, and now I can see my permanent marker marks, and I've already done part of it. Kind of messed it up a little bit, but I just folded it over so the black is going to be on the underside, And it's just gonna be a seam. You can see here's my spots where I messed up, but I'll just trim those up and hopefully it'll be okay. My other marks. Oh, it's gonna be hard on the seam right here. It's so thick. So this is my finished product. Didn't turn out great, but really I was just worried about the edges fraying on this when I try to stretch it around the base of the tree, since you know it's going to be stretched around it. This isn't really going to be seen, so I'm actually very worried about doing the big circle. We'll see how that goes too. Hi, I'm back on the floor again, under the tree. So I'm going to take, I don't know why I have a marker in my hand, I don't need that. I'm going to take the tape measure again, and I have the leg of my stand here, and since I measured to the edge of the, what is that called? I don't know. The thing the water goes in? Basin? Reservoir? I don't know. So my legs are 20 inches exactly. So I'm going to take that and, well, it's not going to focus either way. So I'm going to go back to my blankets. Focus there. Back to my blankets and measure for the legs and pray everything works out. So I've gone through and made my marks. Can't really see them right now, but I took, if you'll see, like, this is the sewed edge right here. This is the extra that's supposed to be folded under. So I put my tape measure on the edge of the sewed edge, and then we did, so the legs are 20 inches. We were gonna do 25 inches just to give us some extra room, but here where the blanket's short, it only made it to right here was 23 inches, and I really wanted to get the thread stitching off of here. So we did 23 inches. So I'm gonna cut it though, like the places I can. Obviously here I can't cut it farther down, but I'm gonna cut it farther out so that I hopefully don't have the same issue that I did with the center hole, because I feel like if this inside was longer, it would have been better, and I might cut little slits part of the way just to kind of try to hold it back more, but I don't know. I'm learning as I'm doing this, so yeah. So I learned if I kind of just hang on to this back part and kind of hold some tension, and these scissors I have aren't that great, so I just have to do little ones, but you see all my marks here, so I'm just staying, here's where the 25-inch marks were, that's where there's big black spots, but I'm just staying a couple inches back. Kind of planned on doing more back, but that's just what I have going right now. So here it is after it's cut, and Earl is walking all over it. Voila! I left the little extra piece just so I'd have more to fold over, because like I said, the marks are right here, and I only left the red stitching on so I had a little bit of something to fold over, but I don't think it's gonna look right, and I can't keep the dog off of it. Anything on the floor he wants to lay on, so we're gonna try to take this to the sewing machine. My mark is here, so I've just been kind of cutting up towards the mark. Scissors are not doing me well. Just a little slit up towards the mark so that I can just kind of fold it, and fold it at both seams. And I've been stopping my seams at the dot before, so I remember where I left off. And then, here, I'll put it in the middle. And then I line up the edge of it with this line here, so that my seam is the same width. Keeps bunching up on me. It's not going to be the best, but we almost spent $40 at Walmart yesterday on a tree skirt we didn't even like. So a little update, I've kind of changed what I'm doing. I stopped taking it off of the sewing machine because as I was going around, let's see if I can find a spot, you could see where the stitch left off and where the stitch picked up. Of course now I can't find a spot, but you know, trust me. So I just started leaving it on there, and I started cutting just every couple dots instead of every dot, and I've been leaving a little space between the end of the cut and the dot because it makes it easier when the split piece gets here and has to go under here. It makes it easier just to have it not get caught through when it goes through there. So I just finished the edges, but I'm starting to not like that I cut it because I have all these pieces that could flip, the longer pieces especially could flip under. So I think I'm gonna go an extra and just sew these back a little bit so that I don't have to worry about them flipping over whenever I lay it down. So here it is, and Mindy's interested in it now. I just went through and cut off all the extra string that was around it. You can kind of see, like, you can obviously see the seam, and then where the cuts are, I sewed them down on each side, and you can see like little seams from there, but from far away you can't tell. So now comes another hard part, because I didn't leave an opening, which I knew I needed to do, but I also don't have a thing to undo seams. So I'm gonna have to probably cut this back open, and I was gonna Velcro it, and I also didn't leave any extra fabric for it to overlap with the Velcro. So I don't know how I'm gonna do this, but I'm gonna figure it out. Okay, so it's the next night. It's Christmas Eve 2019. I just have my scissors. I really hate doing this. This is the seam for the back of my tree skirt. The center hole is here. Have it upside down. So I started cutting along the seam, and I'm staying to the right of the seam, so at least this side still has the double and the seam on it, so I don't have to re-sew this side. I'll only have to re-sew this side, and hopefully not lose too much width of my tree skirt and mess up the fitting of it. I'm sure anybody who actually sews, if they watch this video, they will cringe, but you know, doing it the amateur style. So I finished cutting it. This piece here is like the folded over that edge, so I need to just snip it here at the top and the bottom to get it off of here, and then I'm going to just fold a little bit of this over just to make another nice clean edge. This side doesn't look as nice anymore because it has like this weird extra stuff to it, but I don't want to cut off more than I need to, so that's what I'm gonna do now. So right now all I'm doing is I just folding over a little bit as I go, just kind of eyeing it, so we'll hope that it looks okay, but this is what I'm doing. Okay, so I finished. This is the side that was cut. This is the side I just sewed down, and now we got these Velcro strips from Walmart. We got 2 packs of 3 because I did not plan on using the sewing machine, so I thought we were just gonna have to Velcro both sides of it, but so I don't think we're gonna use all these, but I'm gonna go through and mark with a permanent marker where I'm gonna put them to sew them down. You like the Christmas tree skirt? Yeah? You're so cute. So I took just one of the pieces of Velcro and I just laid it down across both sides and traced around it with the permanent marker. So I think this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna sew one down halfway on that side, and then the other piece upside down on that side, so then I can just overlap it. I might have to trim up. I might do that. I'll trim up so it's only a half on that side, and we'll see how that works. Duke, you know that this is a tree skirt, not a new dog bed, right? You and your brother are just drawn to anything on the floor, huh? Duke, you good boy? You good boy? Yeah, you good boy, huh? Oh, burp. Okay, so I finished sewing the Velcro on. My sewing machine really did not like it, so I ended up hand sewing the last one. But what I did was I took both sides and I did the felt side up and I did the rough sides down. And so I left the felt side sticking over and I trimmed down the rough side, so now when it lays down it'll line up. And it doesn't look the prettiest when it's velcroed together because that cut edge is up, but it's going to be at the back of the tree anyways. And here is the finished product. It doesn't lay down quite flat, but it looks okay to me. And with the 23 inches, we had just enough room to cover up the legs that were 20 inches. So it works. Thanks for watching. Here's to our journeys. Bye.